So the exhaust is now fitted, the 70cc kit is all installed. I've just test run it, starts up absolutely fine. So the next job will be remove the restrictor out of the carb, put the bigger jet in there, and then take the side cover off, replace the rollers, replace the clutch springs, check the belt for any wear if it is worn or showing deterioration. Then I will order a new belt. I'm in two minds whether to, inside here you've got your two-stroke pump that's operated by a cable. When you give it acceleration, the two-stroke pump opens and closes, which allows two-stroke to lubricate the top of the cylinder. Obviously we're now running a 70 kit, and this two-stroke pump is providing enough two-stroke for a stock 50cc Piaggio zip, so it's not going to be giving as much two-stroke as it should be for that cylinder kit. If you can adjust the pumps ever so slightly, so when you accelerate you get a bit more two-stroke, but by adjusting it you just don't know how much extra two-stroke you're getting, so it's still a high risk. You don't know if you're giving it too much, you don't know if you're not giving it enough. So I'm in two minds whether to remove the two-stroke pump completely and then use premix at a 40:1 mix, which I know is going to be more than enough for the two-stroke, or leave it in, don't adjust it, and just add a little bit of two-stroke to the fuel every time I put fuel in the bike. So I'll see what condition the little rubber inside here, the two-stroke pump is turned by a little mini V-belt. It's only ever so slightly thin, and they are known for snapping. Once that snaps, you don't know it's snapped, and your cylinder head's not getting any two-stroke. So if the belt's worn and it looks like it needs a new belt and there's a lot of slack in there, I'll just completely remove the whole thing. So there's no point me going and buying a new belt and fitting all that for a pump that I'm not really keen on keeping anyway. But if it's all in good condition, I'll leave it in place, and I'll just run a little bit of extra two-stroke in the fuel just to make sure it's getting the adequate amount to supply the new 70 kit. Right, so I've got a rag in place because the bowl will have fuel inside. So right now I'm just getting the bowl off just to install the new bigger jet. I've got fuel coming out now. Inside of the bowl looks nice and clean, which is good. And that big one there in the middle is our main jet. There's the main jet there. What size is the standard main? Alright, standard main jet size on a 50cc Piaggio zip in the UK is a jet size 53. I have a jet size of 54 to replace, 84 sorry, to replace that. Obviously we're doubling the brake horsepower of the engine. We're doing a lot of sports modifications, so 84 will be near enough where I want to be. I might need to go a little bit higher or a little bit lower depending on there, but we'll be near enough there with the 84. Like I said before in previous videos, it will run okay, it won't heat seize on me. It could, if it starts to bog out or whatever, then it's probably too lean or too rich, but 84 is where I want to be. I'll just grab the jet. So I ordered two. I ordered an 82 and an 84. Oh, sorry, I ordered an 83. And an 82, so I'm going to run the 83. Even though it's new, just hold it up to the light just to make sure it's not blocked with any debris. Amazing. I've ordered the wrong size jets. The thread pattern on that one is too small. I did order the 82 is the bigger thread, which is what I needed. So it's got an 82 jet in there now, which I think will be a bit too lean for it, but it will run okay with that. Might be lucky, might really like the size 82. So just get in there. So I remember now, because it was about a month ago when I ordered all these tuning parts, I wasn't sure on the jet size, the standard thread size. So I ordered an 84 smaller thread and an 83 bigger thread, and it's the larger thread. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but that's the jet I went to install, and you can see the difference in sizes. So the thread on the standard one's a lot wider. It's not the end of the world. It only takes a couple of minutes to replace the jet. So just get that in there. That doesn't have to be too tight because it is copper and you don't want to strip the threads on that. So that's that. Make sure that is clean inside. Yeah, there's no debris in there. What we want to do is it's a lot easier to remove the carb completely to do this, but okay, so the bolt slide is trying to slide out of its position. Just bear that in mind. I'm making this look a lot fiddly than it is, believe me.
Inspiration. Soulful dance for the soulful people all the way from 2 till 4. Thank you, Dave Watts, for the last 2 excellent hours of Heritage Soul. Thank you, Mr. D. Happy birthday to you, fella. This one going out to you. It's a Sunday.
I like to evenly tighten my screws so the bowl doesn't sit ever so slightly off. So I just turn that until it's nearly home, but don't tighten it. And then I get the second screw. Get that to its finger tight, and I evenly tighten those so it gets a nice even seal around the bottom of the carb. Right, it's nice and tight in there, and while we're here, take out this painfully restrictor, which is there, so you can imagine how much airflow that was restricting. So that's gone. You can throw that in the bin. We do not need that. Carb's a bit grubby on the seal where that was sitting in there. Let's give that a little clean. and then simply get the carb back in place, just like that. And that's your main jet replaced. I may have to open that again once all the bike's together and running, once I check the spark, see what colour it is, and then I can adjust the jet from there. But that is very important. Do not install a 70 kit or an exhaust without touching your jet, because if you leave the standard jet, for an example, I see a lot of younger lads buying performance exhausts. They buy them, they put them on, and then they complain that their bike's slower, it's barely running, and what's happening is the restriction from the standard exhaust has been removed, so the engine's breathing a lot more, which means if it's pushing the gases out a lot quicker, it needs a lot more fuel. And what happens then is two things happen. You end up with a poor running engine, lacking a lot more power than before, and also it's getting very hot, which is a main cause of heat seizures and top end failures, because there's not enough lubricating fuel to get down into the cylinder to lubricate the head, because the jet's standard and the exhaust is a race tuned one. So always remember your jets. You can buy a pack of jets, I think they come in like a pack of 10, and then install them, run the bike, see how the bike sounds, see how it feels, and check the spark plug. If it's white on the tip, then it's too lean, you need to go higher. If it's completely black and covered in oil and looks really wet when you remove it, then it's too rich, it's getting too much fuel. So we'll see how that size jet goes, and hopefully I don't have to open it again. That would be very nice, but I don't think it's going to be as simple as that. It never is. Right, so the jet's installed. I just want to make sure, I want to get some fuel in the carb, because obviously it's all leaked out now from where we had the bowl off. I just want to start it up just to get the carb nice and full with fuel again. Make sure that the little rubber seal around the carb is holding fuel, because while it's all off and it's easy to get to, you might as well just check these little things, because you don't want to start putting the airbox all back on all the plastics, and you try and start the bike up and you notice that the carb's dripping fuel, and you've got to take the seat out and whatnot again to get to it. So I've kicked it over a few times with the ignition off, so there should be fuel back in the carb, but we'll soon find out. Lovely, carb's nice and dry around the seal. The overflow's not leaking fuel, so that's a success. So I'm just going to remove the side casing now. I've gone round with the torque wrench just to undo it, and I've just got a standard drill. Now they're loose, just to take them off. Right, there's one that I didn't loosen. Right, so this will be a bit tight. Just want to go around and make sure you have got all the bolts. is inside the casing, and the belt looks really good, which is good. It's clearly been changed fairly recently. I don't know if you can see that, but the writing's on there. Starter motor's trying to fall out. The starter motor don't sound too healthy, if I'm honest, when I'm cranking it over, so while I'm in here I'll have a look at that. But not sure where that's coming from. There's a heavy amount of grease, and that clutch has been getting extremely hot. You can see the blue heat marks on there. So there's something to look out for. I mean, they might have gone in here, judging by the belt may have been slipping, and while that's been slipping, it's obviously getting very, very, very hot in there, which has caused this to get hot as well. But so the next thing, I'll take off the main crankshaft pulley with my impact gun and take that off. I'll be able to remove everything, then get to the rollers. Hopefully, I don't know why, but your rollers should be in their seats extremely clean. No dirt, no debris, especially no grease. I have opened a few scooters, and for some reason people think that you grease them up inside there. You don't. There is a lot of grease down inside here. I'm not sure why, but it's not near the crankshaft or anywhere near there, so it's not oil from there, it's just in this middle section here. So I'll cut the video for now. I'll undo the pulleys, and if I find anything that's not right, I'll come back on. Right, so I've undone the main nut with my impact gun. You're going to need one of these, or if you haven't got one of those, you can buy a locking tool. I don't recommend using a flathead screwdriver or anything in them teeth against this, because you risk breaking the actual engine casing then. So it's just a 15mm nut with a washer on. The impact got it off fairly easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off now, and then once that's off, we can then inspect the rollers. I'm replacing them anyway, so I've got some lighter weight rollers, but judging by the belt, someone's been in here fairly recently. The bike has got service history, so I'd imagine that the garage, before they sold it to the previous owner I got it from, they probably serviced it, put a new belt on it, and they may have replaced the rollers. So this bit's also important. That little metal bit there is the spline for the kickstart. As you kick it, it hits those teeth and cranks the engine over. So keep that to one side. This is your fan plate. Be careful with this, because this is your crankshaft now. This is where your crankshaft is. This here. So you don't want to damage the threads or the splines on there, because if you do, the only way to fix it is to split the engine and put a new crank in there. This is your crank arm. So I'll take this off now and have a look at what condition the rollers are in. So you'll have a spinning plate there that the belt sits on. So I'll just take that out of the way. Try and grab the back of the variator so the rollers don't fall out. And there you go. Right, so that has got grease on it, so let's hope there's not grease inside here. Right, so this is your variator, and your rollers sit inside here. So we'll take that off, put that down, and there's the rollers. They're not in too bad shape. Not sure if they're original, I think they are. The bike has only done 3,000. Oh no, so yeah, they have got flat spots on them. Don't know if you can see that. Right there, you can feel it in my finger. So with a flat spot, the roller will tend to sit on that flat spot and not roll up. So as you accelerate, the as you accelerate, so the roller's sitting there at the bottom, and as you accelerate they push towards the outer edge, creating more weight. The lighter they are, the quicker the crankshaft will spin over. The heavier they are, the better top end you'll have. But yeah, so, and what happens is when they've got a flat spot in them, they'll tend to sit on the flat spot and kind of be stuck there, and they won't spread all the way out, so they roll out towards the edge. So I've got a new set anyway, so I want some lighter ones in there. These are fairly heavy, the markings have worn away, but I would probably say they're around 7 or 8 grams. I don't know what the standard weight ones are, but they can go in the bin. And while we're here, I'll show you the new ones. So yeah, straight away, I can feel the difference in weight. These actually came with the exhaust, and I was fairly happy with the weight of these, so I thought I'd run these. I can't remember what weight these are. They're 5.3 grams, so fairly light. I want that really sharp, quick pull away, as these Piaggio zips are well known for their wheelies and stuff. And with the stronger clutch springs and the lighter weight rollers, we'll definitely be able to do a bit of the back wheel action on this bike. So there's the brand new ones, and there's the old ones. So we'll replace them. Let me just make sure that they are the same. Yep, exactly the same. Yep, and they fit nicely in there. So they'll go all in there, all around in there. I'll clean all this out because there's a bit of debris inside there. The cleaner it is, the better they'll roll. So I'll give that all a good clean, and I'll fit the variator back on. Well, I'll put the variator back on later on in dates. I've still got to take the clutch off, which I'll might as well do that now while we're on video. So same thing, if you haven't got an impact gun with this, you can get someone to hold your back brake on so it stops the wheel from turning, and that should give you enough leverage. But when you've got a impact gun, there's your nut, we'll keep that to one side. There's your clutch housing. You can see what I tend to do is, where it's very shiny in the inside, where it's been worn over the mileage it's done, I tend to get a rough edge sandpaper before I reinstall it. I clean it all up, and then I just give it a little light sand just to give it a rougher edge, so when that clutch spins out and hits, it's a bit rougher, so it grips it a lot better. The clutch looks in really good shape. It's got a lot of meat left on that clutch. There's the belt. You can see the belt's in really good condition, so I won't need to replace that yet. I'll keep that. And that's your clutch. So what I'll do in a later video, I'll take this nut off, and then that will release it, and the spring will come out. And then I'll also, I don't know if you can see them in there, see that little spring just there? I've got some heavy duty springs that will give it a better bite. So once the rollers are in there, once the variator's all clean, the new rollers are in there, I'll get to work on replacing the clutch springs. But yeah, that's how you replace them. Just have a look at that 2-stroke pump belt. So I'm not sure how well that's picking it up, but there is a little belt in here. Seems like it's in good shape. All the 2-stroke lines are nice and soft still, they're not brittle. So yeah, it doesn't look too bad in there. Crankshaft seal looks good. No leaks around there. There's no play in the crankshaft itself. So yeah, I'm fairly happy with that. Everything looks as it should. There's a starter motor. The starter motor sounds very rough when you're turning it over. Could picture, yeah. So you can see here on the face of that starter motor, the teeth are ever so slightly worn, but I'm not too worried. It works as it is at the moment, and it'll only take me 15 minutes to replace it. So I'll just use that for now. But that needs a clean, so it's got grease on it from somewhere, which is sitting inside that housing. So that just sits back in there. And once you press the starter button, as you can see, that spindle comes out and retracts. So as you turn it over, that spindle comes out. It catches the teeth on the variator, turns your engine over. The teeth on there look really good, but the teeth on the starter motor not so good, but it still works as it is. I'm not too worried about it. It has got kickstart as well, so if I'm ever out on a bike and the kickstart does fail, the starter motor does fail, then I can always kick it to get it home and then replace that. Like, you see how long it took me to take the side casing off. It's a 5-10 minute job, so I'll get a bit more life out of the starter motor yet, and maybe replace that in the future. Thanks for watching the video to the end. So that was part 2. I've installed the 70 kit, installed the de-restricted exhaust, installed the bigger jet, installed the Molossi air filter, installed the lighter rollers, and installed the stiffer clutch springs. I'm now in the process of stripping all the plastics off the bike, sanding them down, prepping them, primering them, and spraying them in Ford Slate Grey. So if you're interested in seeing the finished product in a few days, give the video a like and subscribe, and I'll get it probably posted the next video by Saturday. So be around the 12th or the 13th of the 2nd, 22. Thanks for watching.